Hello guys, welcome to Clicks. In this video, I am gonna tell you about the major concept exposure. What do you mean by exposure? Exposure is nothing but the amount of light captured in an image. It should never be under or overexposed. Now here comes the question. How to click a properly exposed image? There are two possible ways to get your pic properly exposed. Firstly, the exposure meter. When you look into your viewfinder, you can see a line like this at the bottom of your viewfinder. This meter shows your exposure value. You can achieve up to 70% results with this exposure meter. Here, 0 comes when your pic is properly exposed. If it goes to +1 or +2, then you should notice that your pic is going overexposed. And if it goes to negative values, you should notice that your pic is going to be underexposed. Please note, this meter works only in day lighting or at even lighting. You cannot judge this at studio lightings or at low light. Secondly, this technique is of manual kind, but you can achieve 99% of results with this technique. Before going with it, let's talk about the exposure triangle. Exposure triangle has 3 equal sides: shutter speed, ISO and aperture. Now it's time to apply some common sense. Firstly, let's talk about shutter speed. Shutter speed resembles the speed of your camera shutter. In simple terms, when you increase the shutter speed, you will get a decreased amount of light in your pic, and when you decrease your shutter speed, you will get an increased amount of light in your pic, and if you decrease it further, you might get a shaky image. Always maintain a safe shutter. A safe shutter resembles 1/125 to 1/200, and if you want, you can increase if your pic is getting overexposed, and if you can decrease, but think twice before you decrease, because there might be a chances of getting a blurry picture. Now let us talk about the aperture. Aperture is the opening of lens. The more wider you open, you will gain the more amount of light, more background blur and more sharpness. Let me make simple. If you increase your aperture number, then there will be a loss of light and it results to less background blur and less sharpness. When you decrease your aperture number, you will gain more amount of light, more background blur and more sharpness. Thirdly, ISO. As ISO don't have any abbreviation, but ISO is an artificial light produced by your camera. As simple as, if you increase your ISO, then the amount of light in your pic will be increased, and if you decrease it, the amount of light in your pic will be decreased. And if you increase it further on, then you might have grains like this. If you use a basic DSLR camera, I prefer not to use more than 1600 even in least cases. If you use a high-end camera, it's completely dependent on your camera ability. With these components, you can achieve 95 to 99% of properly exposed images with some common sense by calculating the amount of light with your location. Let's have a quick recap. Firstly, follow your exposure meter. Always maintain a value 0 to 0.3. If it is not working, then with some little common sense, adjust the exposure triangle. When you increase the shutter speed, the light decreases, and when you decrease the shutter speed, light increases. Here you have to note that shutter speed and light are inversely proportional. Even when you increase your aperture number, there will be a decrease in light and also decrease in background blur, and same as when you decrease your aperture number, even the aperture and the light are inversely proportional. Here comes the ISO. When you increase the ISO, the light will also increase, and when you decrease the ISO, the light also will decrease along with the ISO. Here you should note that ISO and light are directly proportional. Do you know about white balance? What impact does white balance give to your pic? I am gonna discuss about this white balance in my next episode. Hope you learned something from this video. If you like it, please give a big fat thumbs up And please do subscribe for more aspects of photography.